Hi there, this is Anna from Anna Aspinus Designs. I want to welcome you to another digital artistry or scrapbooking layout deconstruction. I got busy over the Christmas period, but we are now into 2019 and I look forward to being back in this space with more videos. So this particular page is by Barbara Houston. She is one of the AA creative team members, and she is using the ArtPlay palette Coolth collection in order to create this graphic meets artsy digital page. I'm working in Adobe Photoshop, but you can work along in the version of your choice. You'll also be able to recreate this page in Adobe Photoshop Elements. So before we get started, I just want to briefly show you some of the supplies that Barbara used to create the page. And this is, of course, the new collection by Anna Aspinus Designs. We have the ArtPlay palette, which is delivered in 2 folders. I also released the Artsy transfers just today. And you can see that with this collection, you get a variety of brushes in PNG and ABR format. So you can use the ABR file, or you can simply drag the PNG files into your workspace and use them as overlays. And then, of course, we have some dimensional elements. The ones in folders are included in PSD format. They have drop shadow layer styles applied, so you can go in there and you can modify those independently from one another. Next up is the papery that features 4 artsy designs, and then the solid paper designs, which can also be used with the transfers and overlays in order to create your own custom artsy papers. And then to go with this collection, I also created an Artsy template, which allows you to simply drag and drop your photos into the template and provide a custom background, as well as being able to change both the title and the text box. Journaling, we have some fun PhotoBlendz clipping masks delivered in PNG format as well as PSD format, so that you can access all of those fun brush and stain layers independently. And then we have some fun word art, which you can mix and match to create your own combinations, as well as some fun paper texture brushes to add some really great dimension to your pages. So let's head back into Photoshop and let's talk about the page. Barbara was able to add some extra coolness, which is what Coolth means, to her digital artistry layout by adding a graphic component to the artistry. And so she did this by creating an interesting background layer. So let's go ahead and take a look at those layers, and you can see that she created a variety of rectangle templates using the rectangular marquee tool from the layers panel. And she simply created a new layer, and she created a template by making a selection and then going to edit fill and then filling that selection with whatever color you choose. In this case, she chose gray, and then she clipped the same solid background to those different rectangle shapes. And then in order to get the same distance, then she had to play around and figure out and do a little bit of math in order to divide that 12 by 12 inch layout in order to get the 6 different rectangles with the spaces in the center. So when she'd got the dimensions in the right place, then she was able to duplicate that layer and create 6 of those templates. And she also told me too that she saved the template for future reference so that she could use that over and over again. And then of course she added this background, and she did something really great. She created this sort of faded look by changing the opacity of each of the layers. So you can see the very lightest stripe at the top here has an opacity of 16. And then if we go through, the next one has an opacity of 27, the next one 48, the next one 58, the next one 71, all the way back through to 100. So we've got these variations in opacity, which essentially control the color of this background paper. So I thought that was a really neat approach. And I love the tension that's created by adding the artsy supplies to this very graphic background. So let's go ahead and turn off some of these other layers, and then we'll see how she built up her layout from there. So the foundation for her photo was created by clipping a solid paper to one of the PhotoBlendz clipping masks, and she simply dragged the PNG file into her workspace and then clipped the paper to the mask by going to Layer and then going down to Create Clipping Mask. At the moment it's telling me to release clipping mask because we already have the paper clipped to that PhotoBlendz. So if I go ahead and release that clipping mask, you can now see the paper that she selected, and then we go back to Layer, and there we have the Create Clipping Mask. And then she added in this word transfer and this other transfer here just to create a collection of different transfers to create the visual interest and also create a foundation or a matte for her blended photo. She also added in these splatters from Splatters No. 1 brush set, and then these dots from MiniDots No. 1. So notice the variations in opacity, the variations in color, the different styles of overlays and transfers that you can add in order to create a collection of transfers, which then translate to creating the artistry that form the foundation for your blended photo. The next step was to add in her photo, and she created a custom blended photo, and for this she used an inverted mask by applying a layer mask to her photo, filling that with black, and then using paintbrushes to bring back areas of that image. And I do plan to do a series of blending tutorials from basic through advanced for the store at Anna Aspinus Designs in the next couple of months, so that you can refer to those. The next stage was to embellish her layout, and she did this with various art strokes from the ArtPlay palette Coolth. So we have the splatter layer, which adds a nice visual triangle with the splatters that she applied to her foundational layer, and then some art strokes which support the lines within the artistry, and some paper textures which bring in some depth. And I really like how this vertical line stands in contrast to this horizontal line, and then you've got the contrast of these very linear lines in the background template with the organic curves of both the art strokes and her blended image. Finally, she added some words to complete her page, and to do this she went back to the archives and dug out the word label templates No. 1, and you can see here how she added that over one of the white areas, the spatial areas between the stripes of her background, and then she added in her text. So there was a custom word art title that she applied in there, and that is balanced vertically with the date that she applied to that word label, and then also her journaling. So notice again, we've got these very strong horizontal lines, we've got some faint vertical lines, and then we've got these diagonals that run through the page that create tension and really make that dance between the graphic and the artsy work. I'll make sure that I add all of the supplies used in this particular layout by Barbara Houston, as well as a link to her gallery down below this video. And if you have any questions about this page or digital artistry or scrapbooking in general, you can email me at anna@annaaspinusdesigns.com. Thanks for watching, and I will be back here in this space again soon.